All right, so we are live. We are live. We are live at this very moment. We're just trying to make sure that our screens are working correctly and everything is right on our end. So as you all are coming in, join us, join us. Please share this with a friend, share this with your cousin, share this with your mom, your president, whoever it is. Share this really quick as we're kind of getting situated on this side. Share it, share it, share it. Let them know that Good Trouble is on right now. And even if you're watching the playback, you can still share it and let people know to join in with us. So we're going to work some things on this side really quickly. So continue to just share as we're getting some things situated really quick. Continue to share, share, share. Let the people know that Good Trouble is on today. Now, and even if you're watching the playback, let the people know that Good Trouble is on right now. All right, so good afternoon. It is 1 o'clock Eastern time, actually 1:01. So it may be a different time where you are. Maybe if you're in Africa or in India, it may be a different time, but it's 1 o'clock Eastern time where we are, and Good Trouble is on again. And so if you're tuning in with us, you should know right now that Good Trouble, while we're doing this is our third episode. And so what we want to do now, right now, is just go through some introductions. And so I am Mr. Duke, Demetrius Duke. I'm the coordinator of experiential learning. Sorry, let me slow down. Coordinator of experiential learning and coordinator of international programs. We had some technical difficulties earlier, so we're really trying to get through it today. And so I have some panelists who are our CPI ambassadors, and I need for them to go through and introduce themselves and let them know who you are. Osai, we'll start with you first. Genesis, and then Cheyenne, Devontae, and then Kamaya.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Osai Malik Rivers. I am currently a junior at Voorhees College, majoring in child development. And if you're going to get into any trouble, let it be good trouble, like the late, great John Lewis has said.
There you go.
Hi, I'm Genesis. I'm Genesis Priester. I'm a junior majoring in psychology. Yeah. I don't know what this is.
There we go.
Hello, I'm Cheyenne Blakeney, and I am a senior, and I'm a major in child development.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. My name is Devontae McKee. I'm a senior here at Voorhees College, majoring in biology.
Hello, my name is Kamaya Hassens. I'm a sophomore at Voorhees College and I'm majoring in business administration.
Okay, so look, now we've been doing this every week, and we have our person that gives announcements. And so, Cheyenne, could you give us our weekly announcements for the Good Trouble podcast?
Okay, I'm giving you the COVID-19 safety guidelines once again, but this time I might have a little piece of new information, So again, don't forget to take your mask everywhere you go. Always wash your hands. Nobody likes dirty and germs, So wash your hands for 20 seconds. And, don't be on my neck. Stay 6 feet back, period. If you're sick, stay home. If you're around somebody that's sick, quarantine for 2 weeks because ain't nobody got time for that.
There you go.
Clean your surfaces. And what has just came out on the news is that Pine Sol can actually help clean germs off the surfaces too, just like Lysol. So get you some Pine Sol. Get into it. Period.
All right. So thank you for our weekly COVID-19 announcements. So let's start our conversation today. We had some great sessions when it came to really just starting this conversation and really building it. And I think that this probably has to be, we only had 3 so far, but this probably has to be the best week so far. I said it last week, but I think this is the best one. So let's start the conversation about how struggle builds character. So Devontae, when you hear that quote, what comes to your mind about how struggle builds character?
Oh, when I hear the quote, how struggle builds character, I see a person who's going through something that taps into another side of their self that they didn't even know that they had. Like they're able to just push through and just find the inner strength that they need.
That's a great answer, man. It's a great answer. Osai, what do you think about what comes to your mind when you hear the quote struggle builds character?
When I hear the quote "struggle builds character," I personally hear something that a lot of people don't like to hear per se, because no one actually wants to go through a struggle. If we want to be real about it, like if you ask anybody whether they would rather prosper or struggle, they're gonna say prosper 100 out of 100 times. So I just think it's something that no one actually wants to sit down and talk about, and that's also one of the problems. No one wants to talk about their struggle. So I think if we do a better job of understanding that everyone goes through that struggle and talk about it, it's something that a lot of more people can get through.
Yeah. So quick thing, man. I think you just said something really good just now. So let's talk about why people dislike it. Kamaya, can you tell us why people dislike that quote struggle builds character? Let's talk about that for a moment.
People don't like to talk about their struggle because they don't really like trust people. Because some people can throw it back in your face and stuff like that. And it's hard to talk about, oh, well, this happened to me, that happened to me, well, this happened. Like some people may just really take advantage of that.
Okay, trying to make sure everything is good on my end on the technical stream. Cheyenne, when you hear that struggle builds character, tell us why the next thing in people's mind is, I don't want to hear it, I don't like it. Why do you think people don't like to hear that struggle builds character? And Genesis, I want to hear you chime in on that after Cheyenne too.
Honestly, I just feel like when they hear stuff like that, it just makes them think of the past, and it's something that they want to keep in the past, but it might bring back some memories and it might trigger something. So that's maybe why they don't like hearing it.
Got you. Genesis, tell us about why people dislike it. They don't want to hear it. If you say anything about their struggle, wait, that's a sensitive spot. I don't want to hear it. We're in COVID-19 right now, and I actually want to stay in the frame of mind where I am because this is a struggle that I didn't ask about, but this may build something, but I don't like it. So tell me why people don't like it. While we're trying to figure out what's going on, Genesis, are you saying something now?
Because it's too honest.
Okay.
Nobody really wants to hear that struggle builds character in the middle of a struggle, to be genuinely honest. I mean, because you can't argue with the statement.
Yeah.
It's struggle builds character, and no.
Genesis, you froze up a little bit. We can hear you. We can see you now, but you froze up a little bit when no one.
I'm sorry.
You froze up a little bit when you said when no one. Okay, so let's do this really quick. Osaya, let's jump to you because we're trying to figure out what's going on with Genesis device right now. Let's jump to you and I know we asked it earlier. Let's now go to if we know people dislike it, right? Let's talk about how it has helped people, because I know we don't like it at times. I know we don't want to hear it, but how has it helped you? How can it help you? What tools and strategies can you think about that you can use during a struggle?
Me personally, whenever, even now, based on past struggles, tool that I've taken from them is really just knowing that I've gotten through something worse, something like it helps me build mental fortitude. It allows me to be able to say, oh, I can get through this. I can push through it no matter what outside noise is coming in, people, even your own family member, trying to bring you down, outside noise. Just the biggest tool I've taken is the mental ability to know that I can get through it.
Yeah. Cheyenne, what tools and strategies can people gain while they're in their struggle or after they come out of that phase?
You know, when I was going through what I was going, it helped me be like independent. It helped me be strong-minded. I strived for more. I pushed myself to go harder. Things I kept saying that I was going to do, I actually started doing. And you know, I just started putting positive thoughts in my head. And because at the end of the day, like from a few weeks back, we talked about how you could be yourself. Well, you can be yourself's negative influence.
Yeah.
And in this case, you could be putting negative thoughts in your head instead of thinking positive and putting positive thoughts in your head. So, you know, stuff like that.
Gotcha.
Just always think positive.
So Kamaya, let's talk about how struggle building character. How has it helped you personally? And what type of tools have you gained in those experiences?
It helped me a lot. It helped me not to really like think about my struggle and kind of just keep pushing forward and think positive and stuff like that. And like kind of me doing stuff so I won't really think about what I go through and stuff like that. I usually be depressed, so I try to do things so I won't be depressed or think about, oh wow, we used to go through this. This used to be me. When I see someone else going through the same thing I used to go through.
So let's ask this question, Devontae. How does a person now change their perspective about what they're going through? How does a person now say that this has not came to possibly be the detriment of me, but this has actually came to make me stronger? How would you encourage the person to now change their perspective about their current situation?
Just for anybody who's listening that is going through what you said, I would say just always think positive. The storm, the storm isn't gonna last forever. Things are gonna come, they're gonna come at you left and right, but it's only making you stronger. Like eventually you're gonna get to the point where something's gonna get thrown at you and you're gonna be like, oh, I done been through this before. That ain't nothing compared to that. I get through it. Like it just keep pushing. That's what I would say. Keep pushing.
So the reality of what you're saying is that whatever we're going through literally is temporary, right? If we're having this phase of virtual learning, temporary. If we're having this phase of I want to be in school right now, but I'm at home and my family is driving me crazy. Some people may be saying that. I didn't say it. Some people may be saying that. So it's temporary. And so to your point, is to realize that literally in moments of frustration, those are only temporary moments. Osai, let us know how do you get to a place where you don't define yourself by your struggle?
Just knowing that you yourself have been through that struggle. Like you're once you go through it, you get to a place of where at like sort of like a top of a mountain type feeling, like can't nothing really knock me down off this. No matter what comes my way, nothing's gonna knock me off this high place that I've gotten to, this like standard that I've set for myself. So I think a lot of it is just like going through it, knowing you can go through it, and not falling back into that situation, because they say bad habits die hard. So like it's so easy for somebody to fall back into a situation they were in, especially if something gets tough and they sort of lose hope and go back into that dark place. It's easy to fall back into whatever situation you were in. But having that strong mind, knowing that I've been through it, I don't want to go back there, and I'm going to make sure I don't. That's very key.
Let's go from another angle for a quick moment, Osai. And I know we talked about this earlier, and even as we prepare for the meeting, we talking about the struggle that African American males go through, right? There's a lot going on. There's a lot of pressure on the back of African Americans wherever you go in the world now. And so, how do you now get a gauge on the struggle that African American men, in your opinion, and experiences that you've had? How do you now?
Me personally, I'm just myself. I can't speak for anybody else, but me personally, I feel that it's a lot of pressure on us. I know Devontae could probably speak to, and you too, Mr. Do. It's a lot of pressure on us to not only, you know, be strong, but don't show weakness. Like it's a sign of, like, you know, failure if you show weakness as an African American male, which I feel is like wrong and is so like outdated. I feel like we have emotions too, and the more that we bottle it up, I feel like that's where a lot of our problems come from too, because we know we're so strong and we don't need anybody, that we fail to realize we need people the most, you know, because we have to bear all that on our back. So
We're so strong, we don't need anybody. That's a powerful quote. We're so strong, we don't need. Devontae, with the pressure of just being an African American male, let us know how you now, as an African American male, combat that struggle, dealing with the pressures of life, dealing with what we see on TV or what we've seen over the last 6 or 7 months. How do you deal with that mentally and emotionally, you know, to be able to say that this struggle that the entire world is dealing with, can you guys hear me? Okay, so this struggle that the entire world is dealing with right now, right, is something that has the ability to make us stronger and to build more character.
I'm sorry, Mr. Du, when you started talking, I couldn't hear you.
Okay, cool. So the entire world, right? African Americans across the entire world, we're dealing with the struggle of what we see on TV, police brutality, et cetera, right? How have you personally combated this mentally, emotionally, you know, even spiritually? How have you combated this to now motivate yourself to say that this can build character? This is something that we don't have to succumb to or be defined as. What has been your motivation to now look at that a different way as an African American male in the United States?
I would say it has kind of driven me to go a little harder, you know, like I know I'm gonna have to work a little harder because it's already, like, as me being a black male, it's already kind of a target on my back. So I would say it's shown me to stay out of the way, you know, don't do too much and just thrive, like to push harder. Cause I know I have to work 2 times hard as one of them would have to work, if you get what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah. So when you say the statement, don't do too much, right?
mhm.
What does that mean exactly? Does that mean that I go hard, but I don't go my hardest? Or does that mean that I go hard, and when it comes to me being around troublemakers?
Yes, that's what I was referring to the troublemakers.
Yeah, there we go.
Like,
There we go.
yeah.
yeah,
I
like
also think that we can, like, as like Devontae, me, you know, you, all of us, we can like be the example for change, because a lot of times we, you know, a lot of us sometimes put that target on ourselves. We don't like to talk about that. A lot of times we sometimes put that target on our own backs when, you know, like, it's we black males, and, you know, we, as much as I don't like to say it, and I don't think it's entirely true, but there is some people that, you know, don't like us. But sometimes I feel like we antagonize, we put a even bigger target on our back than there even needs to be. So I feel like, you know, showing the world that, you know, we can change and we can grow and, you know, use our heads instead of everything else, just like everyone else, you know, that's going to be a big part of how we like change the whole perspective of the country as a whole. Because, like, a lot of times we use our mouths and, you know, yap, but no one wants to do anything to actually bring about change. So
That's a good point. So you said something about having targets on your back. And so, Cheyenne, I'm coming to you because as Osai said, targets on our back, I'm thinking now that even though the African American male has dealt with struggle and is dealing with struggle in the world right now, the woman is too. And when we talk about the history of how struggle builds character, I'm sure that you can probably bring moments from years ago, right? And maybe even moments like from now. So let's kind of go back to that for a moment. Like, just talk about the history of the woman dealing with the struggle, in your opinion, really quick.
I just feel like women, we also go through a lot, especially Black women. We go through a lot. It's like everybody want to be protected, but nobody wants to protect the women, the Black women either. You know, and it's kind of hard Like, I don't know, it's just kind of hard because it's just like we're fighting for men, but we're also fighting for ourselves, and it's
Right.
like we're doing that battle by ourselves. So it's just
Yeah.
like
Yeah, I was gonna say, I know me and my fiance, we go through that like kind of a little bit. Like, you know, there are times when I like, you know, shut down on her and like really frustrates her. And like we talk about all the time how she is not only like bearing her own struggles, but you know, she's willingly accepting mine too. So it's like, you know, the black women, I feel, go through a lot more than the black men, to be honest. Like I know me and my fiance, we talk about that a lot.
So, Kamaya, I want to ask this question because I think that we're kind of navigating to a pretty good place in this conversation now. When we talk about women now dealing with struggles in the United States, you see the Breonna Taylor incident, right? Where a woman was killed in her home and didn't receive the proper justice. So, what does that do for you as a woman, as a young woman? I mean, you're a college student. What does that do to you mentally? How do you now respond to moments like that?
Mm, that's sad, actually. Women go through a lot. So the situation that you were just talking about, that's kind of messed up, but I feel like I really don't know too much about that situation.
Hmm.
But just women in general, they're powerful, like they're powerful people. Like someone said that women are more strong, not women more stronger, but like they have more than a man do.
Hmm.
So it's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of just,
They have a they have more to go through or more responsibility, as you're saying.
yes, a woman, yes. I don't think yeah.
It's
Um,
fine. I know we kind of went a different avenue, so it's fine.
yeah.
Genesis, let's let's chime in on that for a moment if you have anything that you would like to share.
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, so first we talked about Osaya. Um, Osaya and Devontae gave their point of views about how men deal with what's going on in the United States, either it's mentally, emotionally, physically, because it's so much. But women over the last couple of months have been, hit hard too, and whether you guys are seeing it from social media or the news, how have you really just combated that entire media just plunge of information, and how would you encourage somebody else to deal with it?
Um, I'm not sure if this sounds healthy, but I don't pay attention to it because regardless of the situation, as a black person, you already walking around with two marks against your name. You black and you either a male or a female. That carries enough unnecessary problems as it is, because as a black man, you can't do anything right and you're always a target. And as a black woman, you have a lot of things that you have to do. Because I know since I've been younger, I've always been taught just because I am a black girl, I'm going to forever have to do more than my white counterpart because they're white. The system is built for them.
Right.
So by saying that a black man has it harder than a black woman, that's not necessarily correct, but a black woman doesn't necessarily have it harder than a black man either. You can't pay attention to a system in which you're not built to win. So by looking at something and saying, well, this is built against, you already know that you have that strike against you. So there's no point in continually walking around with it because someone else already has it against you. So why hold it against yourself?
Good point. Let me ask this question though, because you said a couple of great things, but one I want to address because I know we're reaching our time soon. You said that you don't pay attention to it, right? You know that it may not be healthy, but you're not paying attention to it. So is that healthy though to say that, okay, I'm just gonna put the blinders on and to not say anything about it? Is that healthy, or do we do this?
Don't say not say anything.
Okay. Now let me ask this question. Or do we, Genesis, or do we come up and we create videos with historical facts about what's happened over the years and what's happening now with relevant topics? Or do we do things like that to now intrigue the listeners to say that, hey, this has not just started, but this has been going on for a while now?
We learn to say what it is we have to say in a way that'll be understood by those who need to hear it. So if I have something that I need to say, I'm gonna say it because I understand that whoever was supposed to hear it is gonna receive it the way that it was meant. So when the whole riot started, I didn't really have much to say because I did not agree with the way that they were being organized. If you have something to say and you want to walk the streets, do it, but don't just do it for no reason and you don't have a purpose. So I took it upon myself to find a different way to say what was already being said, but was being lost in translation. There's not really a lot of understanding between the generations and what's going on. So being able to sit down and explain in a way where everyone can understand and at least come to some kind of complete understanding I mean, it's not going to ever happen that you have a full understanding between people, but being able to explain it and at least one or two people get it is better than not explaining it at all.
So I think what I'm hearing you say ultimately with the understanding piece is that we can't just give up off of one note. That there has to be some type of persistence, right? Because if we're saying, hey, this thing needs to be addressed, and the first time they're like, okay, cool, and we don't want to hear it, that there has to be some type of persistence and longevity, with our approach, right?
But there's a logic to it. If someone tells you no, you either allow the point to prove itself or you continue to prove the point until someone actually sees it.
Right, correct. Having that persistence. So let's go back for a moment, Cheyenne, and I want you to, I think you have something to contribute to this because people now have had all types of experiences with struggle building character, right? And so can you talk about some personal experiences where you've had, and maybe you were literally in a struggle, right? And it didn't look favorable. However, you turned it around for yourself, and there were so many components in there for you. So do you have a story that you can share with somebody before we end today about a personal experience for yourself?
I do, and I don't mind sharing it because I'm not in this position anymore.
Right. Okay.
So, before I attended school, it was a point in my life where I was just low. Everything was just happening around the time my grandpa passed away, and I had a lot of family problems. So I used to sleep in the car, and I mean, it is what it is. I was sleeping in the car, but I kept putting myself down and kept filling myself with those negative thoughts, like this is what you're going through. You like I don't know, like I was just filling myself with depression when I could be putting positive thoughts in my head. So I got to that point where I didn't want to be in a position, but like I didn't know where to start. So I mean, I didn't really have that motivation, but I had a small bit of motivation, and I kept telling people that I was going to go ahead and go to school or go to the Army or the Air Force. I kept saying all this stuff, but I was never doing it. So it got to the point where I mean I just got really tired of going through what I was doing. So my friend, she told me I need to try for these schools, whatever schools. And I went ahead and I tried Voorhees and I tried South Carolina State University. And I happened to get into Voorhees, and I didn't finish the application on South Carolina State, but I finished Voorhees. And I finished Voorhees application and I got accepted. So I made that choice to make this my way of getting out of what I was going through. I pushed myself to get my license. I told myself that I was gonna get my license this day and get my card this day. So I got my license. I told myself I was gonna get my license before my birthday and get my card before my birthday, and I did both of them. And then it was, even though it was like 3 days before or whatever, so I did what I had to do. I got on my feet. Even though I didn't have my support system, I was my support system. So, I did everything for myself, and I just had to focus on me. I had to start spoiling myself. I had to feed those positive thoughts to myself to get out of the position that I was in. And
Cheyenne, let me ask one question before you continue. because you said a lot of stuff in this story really quick, and I want us to unload it before we end. Because one, you said that you filled yourself with negativity while you were down. Then you said that you had small bits of motivation and you had a friend. So let's unload those 3 points really quick before we end. And so one, I want to ask the question, because you said you were filling yourself with negativity, and so a lot of people may not agree with this at times, but it sounds like you're saying that what you feed yourself and ultimately how you react is optional.
Yes, like sometimes you can be the person that pushes yourself into that depression state when you can
Ooh,
when you can be that person that to keep you from going into that state and
yeah.
being positive about situations, not always having those negative thoughts.
So literally, and other panelists on the podcast today, y'all can chime in if you agree. So literally, sometimes you can be your biggest negative influence. It doesn't have to come from friends or whatever. Sometimes is you.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's easy to do stuff when it's like the easiest thing that it's for the easiest thing to do. Like you don't have to, try anything hard or go outside your comfort zone. And a lot of times those are the things that are going to get you into deeper stuff.
So let's ask one more question, because Cheyenne, like I said, as you kind of told your story, I'm hoping that people that are watching will be taking notes and be able to kind of combat their own issues and emotions and feelings. Let's talk about this for a moment. You said you had a small bit of motivation. You didn't say that you had a motivational speaker playing every morning. You didn't say that you had Ray Lewis in the background doing his dance and hollering and screaming. You didn't say you had Brian Dawkins. You said a small bit of motivation. Let's talk about that for a moment. Let's talk about that. It doesn't take you to be in front of the entire world to tell them that you're about to make a change, right? Let's talk about that small bit of motivation. What was it? Where did it come from? Where did you find it? Because you in the car, so where did you find that small bit of motivation?
I don't know. I had to find it within myself. Like sometimes I would have a journal and I would just write little stuff in there to push me. Like, Cheyenne, you got to get this done. Cheyenne, you got to do this. You got to do that. Stop slacking. Like, it was just my thoughts. It basically was just a journal of my thoughts of pushing me to be that motivation to myself.
Okay, so look, we have to end today, but I hope that people have gained something from this conversation. I wish we could continue. We're actually 3 minutes after our time right now. So any last words, panelists today? Look, I think you all should ask these questions now, because they may be booked in a little while. You may have to pay some money to get them to come to your podcast or your show or even your campus. So any last words, anybody? Cheyenne, that's an awesome story. I want to continue talking about it, but we have to get off the call soon. So anybody have any last words you want to share about the struggle building character? People may be in something right now. Any last words?
Stay positive.
I just want to tell y'all, like my grandma always told me, it's not about where you come from, it's where you're going. So just keep that in mind.
First of all, I want to say y'all need to arrest them cops that killed Breonna Taylor, period. And second of all, I just want to say don't beat yourself into a depression. Always push yourself to do better.
Here we go.
Mm.
Kamaya, Genesis, y'all good?
I was gonna say it's not gonna always be forever. Like, this is temporary. So just keep pushing, trying to be positive, and do not go down that depression stage, because it's hard. Like, some people still go through it. Like me, I still go through depression every day, all day. And it's been 2 years and I still go through it. Like, it's hard. So if y'all need somebody to talk to, I'm here, but just don't go through that depression stage. Stay positive.
Let's see. Regardless of the situation, tomorrow is gonna come.
There we go.
If you don't have a plan, that's your plan right there. Tomorrow's still coming. Still
There we
gotta get
go.
up.
There we go. Look, this was another episode of Good Trouble. I literally think at this point, at the end of the conversation, this has been the best so far. I know I said it last week, but I think this week has now booted that one off of the stage for the #1 place. And so thank you all for joining us. We're coming back again next Friday. Thankfully, Zoom didn't have any technical difficulties and we were able to make it through the entire conversation. Shout out to Zoom. You guys did a great job. So we'll see you next week. If you want to get into any trouble, aside,
It needs to be good trouble.
that's what I'm talking about. All right, we'll see you next week.